Question number 5, Fletcher Tabuteau.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Associate Minister for Primary Industries, what is the government doing to increase log processing in New Zealand to maximise wealth for the regions that produce them?
The Honourable Joe Goodhew.
Mr Speaker, the government has a wide range of measures underway designed to support the growth of log processing and the wider forestry industry. It is worth noting that domestic processing of logs has actually been increasing. In 2014, the share of total harvest processed domestically was 49%. In 2015, this rose to 51.2%, and domestic processing is expected to continue to increase in 2016. Of the timber exported, 42% goes out as logs, 58% of it is processed in New Zealand. I will give the member just a couple of examples to support this. We're working as part of the engineered timber stakeholder group to identify and develop export markets for that processed wood products. We're ensuring a supportive regulatory environment. Case in point, MPI has recently approved the new Rotorua log processing company, Lumbercube, to undertake phytosanitary inspection as an MPI-approved organisation. And lastly, MPI is also undertaking analysis, this is NZTE and MPI, have co-funded analysis on wood availability and processing capacity for a new processing facility located in Ngāwhā in Northern. There is plenty to say about what we're doing around processing.
Order. And you're taking... The Minister's taking too long to say it. Supplementary question, Fletcher Tabuteau.
Thank you, sir. Why is she allowing foreign corporates to buy up large regional forests, such as Northland, Southland, Taranaki and Rotorua, which are then exporting 2/3 of logs, Associate Minister, directly overseas, bypassing local New Zealand sawmills and processors?
Insofar as there's ministerial responsibility, the Honourable Joe Goodhew.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and yes, I will stick to my ministerial responsibility. What we currently have in New Zealand is some companies that have changed hands, and yes, there has been foreign investment. So while the member was on his feet a couple of years ago decrying the loss of jobs in Rotorua when Tashikawa lost more than 200 jobs, now we see Lumbercube investing here in New Zealand in many jobs and new processing capability. That is but one example. There are many other examples around the country when overseas investment, which is not a dirty thing in New Zealand, is creating jobs for New Zealanders whose jobs had disappeared. The government is doing everything within its capability.
Order. The answers have to be shorter than the Minister's giving. Supplementary question, Fletcher Tabuteau.
Thank you, sir. If she doesn't agree with me, does she agree with Dr John Tanner, Chief Executive of Wood Processors and Manufacturing Association, that the current trend is threatening the longevity of wood processing sector? If not, why not?
The Honourable Joe Goodhew.
Mr Speaker, I am able to advise that we are in constant engagement with Dr Tanner and that we are working together with him. So whilst there is always more economic gain to be strived for in the wood processing sector, that in fact has been encouraged and supported by this government. That is why there is more processing happening each year for the last 3 years, as this government supports the businesses in New Zealand that are processing. And the member would do well to remember the statistics I gave him at the beginning about the numbers of logs that are being exported.
Order.
Mr Speaker. Supplementary,
Order. Supplementary question, Fletcher Tabuteau.
Thank you, sir. Has she even considered options such as those in Canada that require logs to be supplied first to local processors and that the best logs cannot be exported? If not, why not?
The Honourable Joe Goodhew.
Mr Speaker, it won't surprise this side of the House that we are not market interventionists trying to screw the scrum. We are enabling businesses to get on and do what they do best. So while the engineered timber frameworks in New Zealand are being developed, where we will use the best logs and get the best possible price back to New Zealand's economy, instead of trying to advantage one part of the sector over another.
Supplementary, sir.
Supplementary question, Fletcher Tabuteau.
Would she concede, or does she agree that New Zealand wood processors are in fact the whole New Zealand economy are missing out as foreign corporates take the value and the wealth of unprocessed New Zealand timber directly overseas.
Mr Speaker,
Honourable Joe Goodhew.
I do not accept the premise of the member's statement.
Supplementary question, Fletcher Tabuteau.
Thank you. What will she do to ensure foreign corporates from Canada, Malaysia, Japan, China and America work first with our local wood processors, or is she willing to see regional industry go bust?
The Honourable Joe Goodhew.
Mr Speaker, this government is focusing many actions on regional economies. And for instance, I will give examples from up in Northland. These examples show that we are analysing the wood availability and the processing capacity up in Northland currently. What that will mean is more jobs for the people of Northland. That is but one example. However, we understand that this country also needs foreign investment, and the member would do well not to forget the jobs that have been created by foreign investment.
Order. Question number